How you doing, YouTube? Matt with Massive Beer Reviews. Back with another review. A little bit of IPA time, experimental IPA time, in the form of Daredevil Brewing's NEX experimental IPA. Daredevil. Did a crowd of their beers, dug it, reviewed it. Lucky enough, the owner kind of reached out, sent me a couple more beers. And he sent me, I think it was 6 total. A lot of German-based lager, kind of smaller beers, was really cool. And a couple hop-forward offerings. I have this weird kind of thing where I want to do all these beers, kind of, not do them all together, but I like to post them in groups instead of kind of spreading them out over time. And, I got a couple of his beers, went through them, and I got to, the last one, but then I had a bunch of oral surgery done. If you watch anybody reviews or kind of updates and stuff, I'm going through a bunch of that, so kind of really couldn't do any reviews for a bit. So this one's been sitting for about 2 weeks, and I've been chomping at the bit to dive into it, so. Anyway, let's see what she's got as far as what it says on the can. It says NEX, which is the one I reviewed originally. It was their NEX 3. That's a 3. This is their NEX 4, and it says experiment number 4. And down here, dummy, it says new and experimental, aka NEX. So N and experimental. I didn't know that. Now I know. Is our always changing series of small batch American IPAs that showcase our love and aggressively hopped beers. Daredevil Brewing Company. This one, Chinook and Amarillo. So I'm going a little West Coast vibey, possibly. Brewing eclectic, aggressive, fun beers is not for the timid. Unfortunately, the only thing we like better than a challenge is drinking the end result. Aggressively fun beer, Daredevil Brewing. It's essentially that kind of labeling, whether it be their kind of next series or a lot of their IPA offerings kind of have this kind of whirly-giggy guy in the background, which is the experimental thing going on, because it's Leonardo DiCaprio? No, that's the actor. Who am I thinking of? What am I trying to think of? Leonardo da Vinci. Why do you confuse that, man? Because Leo's awesome. Both of them. Anyway, I'll shut up about that stuff and talk about other stuff. So yeah, it's pretty much the same label over and over, which is a little bit different kind of verbiage and backgrounds. Rambling, so let's dive into it. But label-wise, it's cool. I've talked about Daredevil's logo. I actually really do dig it, so. Anyway. I just felt like I could put some silence out there for you guys to freak out for a hot minute and you'd be like, what's going on? He's not saying anything. You're probably like, is the camera working? Yeah. Anyway, pinky finger of infinite creaminess, and that's what you sleep on. Super tight, compact bubbles, and she's got a nice kind of subtle haze to her. Nothing too crazy. Definitely glean a bit of color through her. But yeah, she's got a soft orange, maybe a hint of kind of mahogany to her, just a touch. Bring it kind of a little bit deeper. And like I said, it's got a subtle haze to her. You can definitely see through her, especially if you kind of hold her up to some light, but she's got that kind of grainy cataract thing going on. So, yeah. Does she look like an IPA? Sure. She looks like a couple other beers. Does it matter? No. Matters what she tastes. It smells like, so let's see if we can get a nose on her. Resiny citrus. A big, bright citrus. Fleshy citrus with a bit of that kind of pithiness attached to it. Not even that. Let's scratch that. Rip the pithiness off there. This is actually take an orange, de-skin it, and then wrap a kumquat around it. So you're getting that kind of weird kind of fleshy kumquat sweetness, but you're still getting that fleshy kind of orange thing. So you're kind of getting sweet on sweet, but it's two different kind of orangey, citrusy sweetiness. There's like this sticky resin thing kind of floating around in the background. Definitely West Coast vibes there. And it smells like there's kind of a soft kind of bittering in there. You're getting it on the nose, but it's nondescript. You can't really get too big into it because that sweetness is pretty hefty. I just want to dive in. Cheers. Oh, yeah. That is a big, bold West Coast IPA with some East Coast sensibility going on there. That resin pineness is big. It's not overly bittering. It's a little palate smacking, nothing too crazy. But it's big. The bitterness, like I said, it's big, but it's not that palate smacking big. It's kind of like a sticky kind of like not even sweet. I don't go sweet, even though the beer is sweet. That portion of the show That's tasty. Wow. I haven't had a beer like this for a while. It's just nice, beautiful. What kind of descriptors do I want to throw on it? I've been so far removed from this flavor for so long. It's kind of like jarring, but at the same time fun to kind of dive back into. That sticky, resiny, sappy kind of pininess is there. It's big, robust, but then you have that big kind of citrusy sweetness. Again, kind of that sweet on sweet, that orange core, kumquat skin kind of thing going on there. And then you have this kind of generic soft bitterness throughout it. It's delicious. It's tasty, man. It makes me remember a lot of West Coast beers that I've just kind of not drank. For a simple reason, I usually don't like them. But this has so much of that kind of sweet citrus kind of going on that it lets me get past that palate smacking kind of piney bittering thing to kind of let me just be, okay, this is more candy, like kind of like a candied kind of resiny citrus. Even though, like I said, I kind of want to separate those two. I don't want to be like, okay, that pininess is sweet and more coming from that kind of citrusy side of things. But it's tasty, man. The body on it's fantastic. That's a really good beer. You know what it reminds me of? A lower malt level American barley wine is kind of what I'm getting from this. I'm not saying it's like Lagunitas, but I'm getting a lot of Lagunitas vibes as far as that kind of piney, resiny thing, that West Coast thing coming off it. But it definitely has that eco sensibility going on. It's just a fun beer. It's tasty. It's old school, but it's new school. It's a lot of different things going on at once in a really tasty way, in a really fun way. I kind of dig it. I really dig it, actually. It's my favorite beer I've had from them, probably. Is it the one that was most viscerally kind of tasty to me? I mean, is that the definition of what is a good beer? I don't know. For me, it's more what excites me. And while I would say maybe a couple of their other IPA offerings were a little bit more skewed to what I typically like, this one has me more kind of bouncing around. As you can see, this review is probably all over the place, but yeah, it's just tasty and fun. And not something you see a lot here on the East Coast, which is pretty fucking cool. It's just, we've been just, and again, that's regional. We've been getting wave after wave after wave of all these kind of New England style IPAs. It's just tasty. So yeah, let's talk about it. Recap it real quick. Then we'll talk about it. Piney resininess kind of got that kind of sweetness, non-palate smacking piney resininess, coated or surrounded by that kind of candy, kind of citrus, slightly randy, pithy, kumquat-y thing going on. Beautiful body to her. Super drinkable. I don't even know, ABV-wise, I don't even know if it's on here, but I can't tell you what it is. It's got to be. I would say it's pushing. It's not hot. It's not hard to drink, but I'm thinking this has got to be close to 7%, give or take. And just a tasty beer. Is it? Let's just cut to that portion of the show. Is it one of the better IPAs that it has of late? Yes. And I'm honestly going to say right now, I didn't think a beer with this flavor profile would get into that kind of that list for me. I've talked about this in the past a ton of times. I'm just not a big West Coast and old school IPA guy. I never have. In the 20 years I've been drinking beer, I actually didn't drink a lot of IPAs. I kind of came up in the Belgian world. It's what I drank. German beers, Belgian beers, stuff like that. English beers. Not because I didn't like IPAs, just because I didn't like how they're done. Methods, brewing, whatever, techniques. The hops themselves have changed to like me. I haven't changed to like them. So the way beers are made nowadays, not saying they're any better or any worse, but the way they're done nowadays, they're askew in the way I like them. But this one is definitely old school enough and West Coast enough that it wouldn't be something I typically kind of go gaga for. But there's enough of that kind of new school in there in just the right places to make it just work. Make it work for me. And Honestly, this is kind of one of those beers where I wish I had like a 12-pack of it. Not a 12-pack to chug, even though I'd love to chug this beer. It would be something I'd break off and bring to friends' houses or shares and be like, try this beer, just to see how they'd react to it. It's one of those beers where I want other people to taste it, just to see how they're talking about it, see how they're thinking about it, because this is not what a lot of these people that are hop thoughts, you know what I mean, that did hop bros kind of get gaga over. So yeah, it's delicious. Value and availability, don't know. Maybe somebody can chime in on that and just say if you like what we like this. If you like all the things I said, it's a good beer, it's a tasty beer. If you like good beer, if you like hop forward beers, it's worth picking up because it's fucking tasty. That's what it's all about too, right? Tasty. So there you go. Another review in the books. Way too long. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there, words and stuff. This dude, Massive Beers. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Untapped, all that fun stuff. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a nice something or other IPA beer on Daredevil, if anybody. And hopefully see you next time. Cheers.